Good morning, and thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of season 2 of the What's Your 20 podcast. I'm your host, EPD Special Projects Coordinator Taylor Maris, and joining me this week is Parks Officer Rodney Culver. Welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
And thank you for coming in on your time off.
Oh, hey,
because
no problem.
I've had multiple people say, you need to get Culver on the show, you need to get Culver on the show. And now that I get off work at 3, and I know that's when you come in, and then you're like, I can come in on my own time.
Hey,
so
I'm here.
I'm happy. I'm happy you're here.
Off the clock, I'm here.
Well, and you know, we see that too because we get a lot of messages on our Facebook account of you interacting with kids in the community. Yes. You're like the face of Parks, I think.
I'm gonna call it the people's champ.
Okay. I see how you are. So let's talk about you because really we were just talking off mic a little bit. I don't know you that well, but I know that you came here from somewhere else. So let's talk about Savannah and what brought you to Evansville and how all that started.
Okay, so I'm from Savannah, Georgia, deep South, deep dirty South. And I know a lot of people get it mixed up when they hear Georgia. The first place they think of is Atlanta. You know, thinking, but I'm about 4 hours away.
Okay,
I'm 4 hours south of Atlanta. So, and I moved in 2019. So I moved in 2019. I had one boy at the time. I had one son at the time.
Nice.
Got two now. So
Two boys.
Two boys. So
That's
yeah.
exciting.
So I've been here since 2018, almost 6 years.
A dad with braces.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it took a while. It
does. So. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get some pocket change to be able to take care of those things.
Exactly. Because they're very easy. They're very easy to just. For your mouth to just go down the drain, and it takes a lot.
I had to rely on my parents growing up because my teeth were like, you could fit 3/4 between my two front teeth. Like, it was bad. Like, they had to do work early in my life. Thankfully, they paid for it.
That's how it is sometimes.
Yeah. So, what brought you to Evansville from Savannah?
So my kid's mom, she's from Evansville.
Okay.
And at the time, her grandparents were getting older, and
Sure.
we were having kids, so we wanted to move up this way, so she'd be able to have a relationship with her grandmother, which, rest in peace to her, but she eventually ended up passing away during COVID. Wow. But she had a chance to see both of my boys.
That's amazing.
So, she had a chance to see both of my boys. And, so that's what got me up this way. So, I'm here.
And when you were in Savannah, did you do anything along the lines of law enforcement?
Nothing.
Okay.
No, before I left, I was a trash man.
Really?
Yes, I was a trash man before I left. So
okay. So then, how does that translate into you coming to Evansville? Like, did you see a sign? Like, what happened?
So she's from here.
Right.
So my kid's mom is from Savannah. I'm sorry,
from
she's
Evansville.
from Evansville.
Yeah,
she's from Evansville, and that's kind of how we got here.
But then, how did you get into EPD?
So EPD was so I always wanted to be a police officer.
Okay.
Ever since I was growing up.
The trash man was just like the stepping stone.
Yeah, the trash man was just a part of it. It was just in a way. It was in a way. But just growing up, when I was young, I thought it was real cool seeing police cars driving Savannah, and then whenever they were driving lights and sirens, I was like, well, you know what? Like, I don't care about the cop. Like, I just wanted to chase cops and robbers. That's all. It's just cops and robbers game.
Yeah.
So and just drive a car pretty fast with lights and sirens, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I never thought about the paperwork and everything else that goes into it.
Right.
I'm just, I'm a kid, so I'm not thinking like that. And sure. So once I get here, I start working at the Vanderbilt County Jail because I knew eventually I wanted to, because I did try to be a police officer in Savannah.
Okay.
Before I left, and once I didn't get on there, it kind of shot my confidence down. And
it does that.
It was through the floor, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do it again. So moved here in 2019, and eventually I was like, you know what? To build my confidence up, I'm going to start working at the Vanderbilt County Sheriff's Office, and that's what I did. I was the confinement officer there. I spent a year there, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready. I talked to a few officers as they came in to bring people in, and they kind of got me going like, hey, man, you can do it.
That's cool.
So, and during this time now, you just, you needed more officers, so I was like, oh, you know what? Let me be a part of this. So I eventually ended up applying. And
well, and I remember when you swore in, and you had all these tattoos, and I'm like, this dude, like, he doesn't fit the mold. Like, good for him, because we don't often see, African-American men, especially with tattoos up and down the arms, because we had just changed our tattoo policy really, like, maybe a year before you applied, a year or two before you applied. So you coming in with all the full tats, like, that was like kind of like a, hey, who's this guy?
Yeah, something different. Trying to change it up some.
Yeah, and so talking about seeing you whenever you swore in, and being African-American in a policing field, I know that comes with a deal of struggles and respect and a lot of things that I would encounter on the street. Right. So can you talk about being African-American, some struggles that you have, but also things that have encouraged you as a police officer as well?
So with me not being from here, it's I'm pretty sure it helps me a lot. It helps me a lot, and I don't have I have no family here other than my kids. So I think just not being from here, but also like working in the predominantly black neighborhoods.
Is that easy?
It's kind of half and half. You got some people that respect you. I'm not even gonna say something. There's a lot of people that respect you, and it's also some of the people that just can't get on board. They just and at the end of the day, I got a job to do. So whether it's the whatever community, predominantly white or black, like at the end of the day, I have to do a job.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people understand that. Like, hey, I got to feed my family. Yeah. So I do come across some negativity, but also like I think the positivity outweighs the bad.
It. That's great.
I think it outweighs the bad. Somebody seeing the guy with tattoos and guy with the twisties in his head, and it's like, oh, what? That's who we're hiring, and it's almost like how can they? It's like a reflection of them, and I think a lot of people they respect that. You know?
When you think about the little young African American boys looking up, and they see people like you,
right,
and they think I can do that job too, because a lot of kids do grow up thinking I want to be a cop, and then if they don't see somebody that looks like them, then it makes it more difficult if they're not in that space or if they're not seeing it in front of them. So. Kudos to you, because I can imagine there have been difficulties for you along the way.
It hasn't been the easiest, but like I say, I think just having a big support system, and even with the job, like not having any pushback, I think that was the number one step. Saying, okay, well, I can do this. Like, I can be an African American male with tattoos and with twisties in my head. And
is that what you call those?
Yeah, it's twists. Two strand twists. Some people confuse it with dreads, but
I didn't want to like insult anybody, so I wasn't going to say anything.
That's 2 strand twists, and even once I got the twist, that kind of just added it on. They were like, well, African American male with tattoos and with the twist, and it was like, oh, you can have that, and it's almost like seeing a reflection in them. Like, okay, well,
it's interesting whenever people can find something that's relatable to them. They're like, oh, like there are times where I'll get like little pieces of tinsel put in my hair, and it's the smallest of things, and it's hidden. But if I go to a school and read a book or something, the little girls will say, do you have sparkles in your hair? And they might not talk to me otherwise. It's when they can find something that's like them or that they enjoy, it makes it easier for them to talk to you too.
Right. It's more relatable. Like, now we can relate and we can talk, because like he possibly had been through the same struggles I've been. We're talking to the African American males and ladies. So.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So you have been on how many years for?
3 years. I just said 3 years. Just 3 days ago on the 24th.
3 years is
a little over that. So.
Yeah, 3 years is a big milestone, though.
It is.
You get a little bit of bump in pay raise.
Oh, yeah.
You can pay those braces off.
Yeah, it's a little something. It was something.
But you are on the Parks unit.
Correct.
So what does that look like?
So the Park unit, we have, so we got 3 on first shift and we have 2 on second shift. Okay. So our main job or job description is we go out, we show our faces in the parks, and we're just cleaning up the parks. And before I even got on, not before I got on EPD, but before I got into the parks unit, I thought about it and I was like, do we really, do we really need this unit? And
sure.
And
I think a lot of people probably thought that.
Right. They did. And my first week going out there. And I was like, well, it's really needed, because I didn't notice how much drug activity and how much goes on in the parks. So my job is like, how can we take the drugs out the parks and put the kids back in?
Sure.
So that's what we're here for. So.
Yeah, and I bet you see a lot more than just an average patrol officer too, because you get to dedicate your time to just those parks. Are there a certain amount of parks that you go to, or a certain side of town of parks you go to?
I'm all over.
Okay.
I'm in the city and I'm in the county. So.
And there's like over 40 parks, right?
There's a lot of parks. There's over 60 parks.
Over 60?
There's over 60 parks.
I think a lot of people would be surprised knowing that as well.
Oh, yeah. Because there's some parks you may drive by, walk by, and you're like, oh, that's part of somebody's backyard. But no, it's a city park.
Oh.
I can think of a few.
Really?
Yeah, it's a city park. So.
That's awesome. So do you think you do, and this might be a tough question because I know you do both very well, enforcement or interaction in the parks? And I don't think there's a wrong way to answer this question either, because we need interaction with law enforcement in the community. Yeah,
well, I can answer it both ways. So, like I say, whenever we first got into the parks, there was nobody actually patrolling the parks, because I thought about it before I got on. I was like, well, how many times have I ever been to a park?
Sure.
How many times have I had a call at a park, which I've had a few, but enough to count on one hand. And then once I get out there and I started working in the parks unit, I noticed how much it was needed. So yeah, I think we like I said, I can see both sides of that. Just the positivity side of it is just cleaning up the parks. Like whenever I first got into it, And now, I mean, since the parks are pretty much I wouldn't say cleaned up all the way, but we still have some things we want to do.
They know that police are there actively patrolling.
Correct.
So that alone changes things.
Correct.
Do you get on the 4-wheelers too?
I do.
You do?
I do. Summertime, I do. When cooler months and colder months, I won't mess with it at all. But
what do you do in the winter months then?
So
if there's not a lot of people.
So
at the
winter
parks?
months, we not really got away from the parks because we're still in the parks. There's people that still go to the parks regardless. But you got homeless, so we're dealing with a lot with the homeless and working hand in hand with the CPO unit and helping them out whenever we can.
Trying to give them resources and
tagging cars and because those guys are already busy as.
Oh my gosh, they are. They're a great unit, a great resource.
Yes.
Do you have any like memorable stories of in the parks, like any interactions with kids or?
I think events like I did this year. I did what I can't remember the name of it. Evansville
Fiesta?
No, Evansville Trunk or Treat. I did Evansville Trunk or Treat downtown. Evansville Trunk or Treat.
Did you decorate? Yeah. Because you sent me the pictures and I didn't know if you decorated it
or
not.
So I decorate. I had a little help.
Okay.
I didn't do it alone. My lady, she helped me with it, but so I did that and.
What we're talking about is he had sent me some pictures of being at a trunk or treat, and the back of this police car had cobwebs everywhere and decorations, and
she decked it out.
It was
for me.
very good for her. Whoever she is, I'm giving her a hand clap because
Kathy, she decked it out for me.
We don't see that very often. People investing in that kind of sense.
Right.
But being in the parks unit, you have maybe a little bit more time to be able to dedicate yourself to events like that versus a patrol officer that's going run to run to run.
Correct.
Too.
Correct. Yeah, so well, I'm sorry, just to back it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to give her a little bit more credit. Yeah, she sorry, just a little bit more credit. You know, she definitely decked it out, and I think it was huge. You know, like I said, having a support system, having somebody that can definitely support you and what you do, and going out in the community, and also seeing what I'm doing day to day, and me telling her my thoughts, and like, hey, what do you think about this? Because it's always good to have somebody like that, and
it's hard because law enforcement. I mean, we see a lot of things.
Correct.
And it's hard to navigate how we process those things sometimes. And so having a support system, whether it's like internally within the department or externally at home or through family, friends, fellowship, however, that is extremely important, which leads me to my next question. What does work-life balance look like for you? Because that's something I struggle with, and I know a lot of other officers struggle with. Like, do you work off duty? Do you, I mean, you have 2 kids at home, and so how do you handle that kind of balance, especially working second shift?
Right, exactly. So I think and over time, you know, first starting out, I was like, well, you know what, me and the chief talked about it before. He was like, hey, you know, because he said he worked a lot of off duty, you know, some of his earlier years, and I'm trying not to do the same, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
I know, you know, I'm right there with you.
It's so hard. But I think the biggest thing is just having, like I say, back to having a support system. I got a great family, you know, my mom, dad, and siblings.
And they're still down in Savannah?
Yes. Okay. So all my family's still down in Savannah, Georgia.
Do you think they'll ever come back up? Or they'll ever come up?
Probably not. Probably not. And I think a lot of the reason is because me saying, you know, I work a lot, so it's kind of, I'm not saying it's hard to get off, but just me, family life, and everything. I think it's hard for them to get up here, but eventually, I hope they'll get.
Have
up
they
here.
Visited?
So my dad has. My dad has. My mom hasn't. She's you know, her and my grandma keep saying make their, you know, come up this way, but.
Did your dad come up here and eat anywhere? Did you guys go out to eat?
So
I want to know what place you would have taken him.
I can't remember if you did or didn't because my dad hasn't been in almost 2 years. So
if your family was going to come up here, now that you've been in Evansville for a while, what restaurant would you take them to?
This is nothing against Evansville. Nothing against Evansville.
I'm sure there's a lot of variety in Savannah.
One of my favorite places is Raising Cane's.
Okay.
So I take the trip to Owensboro, and I probably take them to Raising Cane's. That's just my favorite place. That's my favorite place.
How often do you go there now? Like, would you be
once a week?
Yeah, do you really?
So I take if I don't take it, I'll go on my off day and take the kids. I'll go early morning, ride out there. It's not
just for some Raising Cane's.
Just for some Raising Cane's. Gotta have the 6-piece fries. Gotta have it all.
Yeah, what's your order?
So I get the 6-piece. Gotta have the 6-piece because if you go out there, you gotta make it worth your while.
Okay.
So
do you eat all 6 or do you save some?
I may eat all 6. Okay. I won't say, but I may eat all 6 when I go.
Isn't there the debate between like Raising Cane's and
Zaxby's?
No, Hattie's? Are they in comparison or no?
I'm not sure. I know it was between Zaxby's for a while because they got the same like.
Oh, do
sauce
they?
And Raising Cane's sauce.
But you prefer Raising Cane's?
I'm a Raising Cane's person.
Okay.
I like Raising Cane's. So
next time I drive through Owensboro, Culver said I need to go to the Raising Cane's.
Get the 6-piece. They may know my name.
Oh my gosh, That's impressive.
That's pretty good.
Well, also talking about you and getting to know you and knowing that you have tattoos. Do you have a favorite tattoo?
So I'm working on a piece now. It's the Last Supper. The Last Supper on my upper chest. That's working on that now. I got Savannah. I got a lot on my back. So I'm pretty. Yeah, I think my favorite one is probably going to be Last Supper.
That's cool.
Most expensive one too, but
I bet. So, what about any on your arms? Like notable ones on your arms?
I got the Joker.
I got
the Joker up here on my right, and I got a Georgia Bulldog.
I thought you were saying Jordan. I'm like Joker and Jordan.
No, I got the Joker. The Joker. So I got the Joker. I thought it was pretty cool. But I think.
Do you like the movie?
I think it's all right.
Do you play cards? Like, why the Joker?
So I thought the Joker was just pretty. I thought it was pretty cool though.
Okay.
You know, I thought it was pretty cool. I think my favorite Joker was probably the first one.
Okay. I'm not a movie person, so I couldn't even tell you.
I think the favorite Joker was the first one, but I think the Joker's cool.
Okay.
And then knowing how I am, like, you know, just sense of humor and everything, I thought the Joker would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Even though he's
Do you have any nicknames?
No.
You don't?
No. So a lot of people starting to call me Quincy.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that a lot.
That's your middle name, right?
It is my middle name. So, no, I don't have, I mean, in college they call me Hot Rod, but other than that, and then there's even some people around, you know, that call me Hot Rod, but other than that, I think.
Well, because your first name's Rodney.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
So just put Hot Rod together.
Yeah.
I think that's another one.
Where did you go to college?
So I went to 3 different colleges. I went to Cumberland University. I went to Southern Crescent Technical College, and then I also ended at Bruton Parker College.
And those were all in Georgia?
Yes.
Okay.
No, well. So my first one, technical college, I spent 2 years there. Those were my first 2 I went to, and then I went to Cumberland University, which is in Lebanon, Tennessee. Okay. And then I finished off at Bruton Parker.
Okay. Yeah, and you got your bachelor's?
So that's what we're still working on.
Okay.
What's
it going to be in?
So it's going to be in criminal justice and behavioral science.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting. Yes. So. Okay. Let's think. I'm trying to think of other questions to ask you to get to know you.
All right.
So pizza. Do you like pizza?
I'm not too big.
Oh my gosh, you're just stuck on Raising Cane's, aren't you?
Raising Cane's, gotta have it. 6 piece. Make sure you get the 6 piece.
Well, let's go back to then when you applied. So you were working at the jail and you applied for the police department. Was that process easy for you?
So I looking back at it, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
But going through it the first time, no, it wasn't. And I say that because it was a lengthy process, and it was one of those things where like, I think this is. Like, I'm more serious now. Not saying I wasn't serious in Savannah, but I think I'm making it further. Like, every step I get to, it was like, okay, I'm almost there. Mm-hmm. So I think just that process was a bit tough, knowing how far I made it and eventually getting that call saying, hey, you're hired. And I was like, all right, well, where do I show up?
Yeah, so. I was there too. I guess you'd already sworn in when you had to do the physical assessment entrance exam at Bossy.
Yes.
It was cold.
Yes.
It was like snowy outside.
Yes.
But I remember because I was there to take pictures of everybody to post on social media. And your vertical jump was like the picture I used for everything. I don't know if you knew that or not, but like.
Hey, I got up there.
You did?
Yes.
Do you remember what your vertical jump was?
I can't remember what it was.
But it was.
I think there was one officer that was higher than mine.
Really?
I think it was Blair. I think Blair was a little higher than mine.
Really?
Not by much, though.
Okay. Because it was impressive.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So I was a high jumper, just in high school.
Were you?
Yeah, well, not high jumper as in just I can dunk the ball. Like I can get up there.
Did you play basketball in high school?
I did. I played all 4 years. I was all right.
Yeah.
I was all right. So I still try to be active now.
Yeah.
So.
Do you play in any leagues or anything here?
None.
Or just
none.
Pick-up games or stuff?
Pick up games. Just pick up games and when I can.
Yeah. So. Very cool. So what do you think the future looks like for you on the police department?
Ooh, future.
Tough question.
Yeah, it is a big question. Because just being with EPD, there's so many things you can do. Like there's so many.
Specialties and units.
So many. And they offer so many positions and just, it just offers so much and just different units, more than anybody that's around. So I think my biggest thing isn't just my personality, how I'm as a person. Mm-hmm. I think it was the CPO unit, the crime prevention. I want to be a crime prevention officer. I just thought it fits very well with even just what I do in the parks.
Yeah.
So I think.
Well, and just interacting with you now, like this dude talks. Like he likes to talk. He's good at talking.
Hey, I can talk to anybody. I haven't met a stranger, so.
Yeah. Well, and that's great, especially coming into a new, city. Were there struggles with location for you when you came on the police department?
So. Yes, it was. But then again, by then, I was already here. I was here 3 years, and I'm the type. I'm a homebody, so I stay in the house a lot. I do get out, but very rarely do I. So,
Netflix and chill.
So I think a big thing was The businesses, I wasn't. It was pretty easy for me, but when it came down to like a house location, that was a struggle.
Yeah,
I still struggle a little bit.
A lot of people, coming on the department, even if you're from here or not, just learning the coordinates and like what side of the street the house is on and how to pronounce certain street names. It can be difficult, and those are things that you get graded on too. Whenever
is there a street that you can think of?
So I grew up here.
Okay.
So it was easy for me.
So,
and my dad was a mailman too.
Oh yeah, so it's very easy. He knew everything.
He did. So when I was in like middle school, I'd be like, I'm going over to my friend Jessica's house, and he's like, well, where's she live? And I'd tell him like the name of the street, and he's like, what's the street number? And I'd tell him, he's like, oh, that's the house on the right, three down from the street corner, isn't it? And I'm like, how do you know that? I just looked at him like it was unreal. But now, knowing how the grid and the coordinate system works in Evansville, I'm like, it makes sense how he knew that. It wasn't because he was a mailman. It's because once you learn it, it's easy to learn.
The South Side is still a tough one.
South 1 is hard.
I was just trying to give directions the other day, and I said, if you go north, and north isn't like, no, there's no north right there.
Yeah.
If you go north, I think he was going like the opposite way. So, yeah, hopefully he got to where he was going.
Yeah, like Plain Cherry and Plain Maine and like South 1 over there downtown.
It's a tough area.
It is tough because it's not as much on a grid as like Washington and Weinbach.
Right, correct.
Like I know exactly what intersection I'm at with that.
Yeah, so I'm still, like since I work all around, and like I say, during the colder months, we work in a lot of UCS and just downtown area.
Yeah.
I'm still I'll get there. I got Google. So.
It's always a learning curve.
Yes.
So before we get off here, is there anything that you want to add or anything that you want to share with people who are listening about a career in law enforcement or your experience here at EPD or?
I just know that. I know another thing is I would love to say this is that just we're hiring.
Yeah, we are.
We're hiring, and I know I try and go out and I try and go out and just recruit people. Especially people that look exactly like me.
The best department is one that is a depiction of the city that they serve.
Correct.
And so trying to have those percentages of meeting the people in our city is always the goal.
Yes.
And we may never reach it, but that's always going to be the goal.
Yes, exactly. And then you get to work with me.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? This guy will take you to Raising Cane's on the weekends.
Hey, we'll go to Raising Cane's. Not on the clock. We'll go off the clock, but we can bring some to work. So I think that's. So.
Yeah, and February is a recruiting campaign for EPD, so we're doing a lot of sharing on social media about benefits and what pay is. And I just got my W-2, and I made more money last year than I thought I did. And I have no clue where that money went, though. Like
I was going to ask the whole $20, but never mind.
Yeah, you'll get that tomorrow.
Hey, tomorrow.
But no, thank you for being on the show, and I appreciate your time and input and what you had to share, because I know some of those things can be vulnerable to talk about as well. So I appreciate that a lot.
Hey, I'm looking to be back.
I love it. We'll have you back. And thank you for tuning in to the What's Your 20 podcast. You can tune in again on March 1st. Make sure to subscribe and follow our Spotify and YouTube accounts to stay up to date on all podcast releases. Have a good weekend.